How's it going, everybody? This is Ray with budgetshooting.com. Today I'm back out here gonna test a couple of guns, specifically the 300 Blackout. Gonna revisit it. I made some changes to the ejector to hopefully better the ejection compared to the lazy ejection I was having last time. It was kind of just spitting rounds into the space between the chamber and the magazine before, and after some research it seems that that's a common problem on Blackouts on a standard action length, standard short action length like this one is, because of the short case length. It's so short that by the time it gets out of the chamber and up into that recess in the receiver, the extractor and ejector have both lost hold of it, so it kind of just drops into that area. So what I was finding online is people saying that you can lengthen the notch in the ejection pin towards the back so that it protrudes more towards the outside edge of the bolt. So I gave that a try, and with dummy rounds it seemed to be doing a lot better. So I wanted to give that a try today, as well as testing out a couple of different hand loads that I did. I just loaded a couple up to bring out here and give them a little bit of a test compared to that factory ammo that I had. And then I guess at the end, this is the can that I normally throw on there. I just finished another one for my Win Mag, a little bit bigger volume, a little bit longer, and just based on the testing that I've seen that I have access to, it seems like 300 Blackout likes that volume a little bit more. So I'm curious to see if the longer, larger can is going to be any quieter on this at the ear, or if it's already as quiet as I'm going to be able to get it with that Form 1 can that I've got on there. But yeah, I think that's about all I've got to test out here today, so let's give it a go. Alright, so first up, I just got a couple of factory loaded rounds. I'm just going to throw them in there so we can test the function and see if this thing's ejecting any better. Let's hope. With dummy rounds it worked great, so I'm really hoping it works out with the fix with live ammo. I don't see why not. It was working with both dummy rounds and empty cases, so we'll see how it does. Well, it spit all three of those out, so I'd say that's better. Even running the bolt slow on that first one, it did a lot better than it did before, so I'd call that a win. I love this thing, especially now that it's all fixed. Just need to get that action broken in a little bit. I don't know if I mentioned before, but when I coated the action in the moly resin, I did the inside, which is a no-no on a lot of custom actions because the tolerances are tighter. And I did it anyway, and it really screwed it up because the action wouldn't even barely want to move, so I had to go back in and sandblast some of that out. So now I've just been trying to run the bolt as much as possible to smooth that up a little bit back to how it was originally. It's gotten better the more I've used it, so I'm sure it'll continue to get better, but just happy that ejection's working now. Functionally everything's working great again, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the factory loads in. I'll load up the hand loads behind it, and we'll see if there's any difference audibly on video between hand loads and factory loaded ammo. I should be able to get it a good bit quieter. I'm just wondering if it's going to transfer over in video. I'll let you guys know what I think. Hearing it in person either way, but just interested to see if there's any kind of difference on video. Alright, got some rounds loaded up. Just going to fire them off in order without saying what they are while I'm on the gun again, but we're going to start out with two factory loaded 220 grain subsonic rounds from Ammo Inc. It's their stealth ammo. I've had luck with it. It's not the quietest, but I don't have much to compare it to. I haven't tried any off-the-shelf subsonic ammo from other brands yet for this thing. So that's all I've got to test for now. So we got two of those Ammo Inc. rounds, and then I have two loaded up with 220 grain berries over 7 grains of little gun. I know they work in this thing without causing any squibs because I've tried a couple already, and they sound real quiet to me, but I want to compare them back to back with the factory ammo. I didn't have that when I was testing them last time. And then after that, we've got two 150 grain subsonic loads, a little bit lighter on the bullet. I saw this recommended by a lot of people, saying it was some of the quietest that they've loaded up. So those will be 150 grain Hornady full metal jacket bullets over 10 grains of IMR 4198. We've got 2 of the ammo ink rounds, 2 of the 7 grains of little gun, and 2 of the 150 grain subsonics. So let's give it a try. Didn't like that case. Those were much quieter, by the way. Spit that one out. And these are the 150s. I'm excited to see how these sound. Interesting results. I had that one. Didn't want to eject. That was with Starline brass. It was one of the handloads. 7 grains of little gun is pretty low pressure. I think I could go lower, so I wouldn't say it's a pressure issue not spitting that case out, but it was only that one, so I'm gonna have to put this thing through its paces, see if it has any more issues like that with any of the brass. But to my ear, both handloads were significantly quieter than the ammo ink stuff. It's just to be expected. Any load tailored to a gun, especially if you're loading it to be quiet, is gonna beat out some of the factory loaded competition when they're loading for reliability and operation in all kinds of guns. Really surprised with that 150 grain. It sounded similar to the 220, which is good for a lightweight bullet. I might have to do some accuracy testing with them, see if they're any better. The barrel on this thing is only a 1 in 7 twist, so if I can get away with lighter loads that are the same volume as the heavies and they're accurate, that might be the way to go. A little bit cheaper to load. Obviously they will stabilize better being lighter weight, so I've got a few more of those to try. But I do want to throw that other can on here, and we'll do a back-to-back again. I don't have any more of the 7 grains of little gun that were the 2 in-betweens, but I do have more of the factory loaded ammo in the 150s, so I'll load up a couple more of those again to test. I'll swap the can over to the bigger volume can. We'll see how it does with factory loads and hand loads, see if there's any difference. Alright, so got the other can on. It's almost an inch longer with the mount and everything than the other can, but a lot of that does include the mount. Blast chamber is sized for 300 Win Mag and other Magnum rounds. That's what I built this thing for, so it's not really optimized for 300 Blackout, which is a lower pressure round, especially with subsonic stuff like this. But if you watch my how to drill and clip video, it was actually doing this can, and it has this prototype mount adapter on it, which has a built-in diffusion wall, so it limits the excess blast chamber space by breaking it up a little bit and killing some of that flame front. So I'm curious to know if this is going to work on Magnums and also be effective for Blackout. It's one of the reasons I want to test it on this. I actually haven't even tested it on the Win Mag yet. I just got the barrel installed on that one. I think I'm going to test it later today. I'll do a separate video on that and how it works on that, but I am curious to know how it's going to work in this thing, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a try. Again, I loaded up 2 factory rounds, and then behind that are 2 of the 150s. So we'll see, A, if this thing sounds quieter with both of them than the smaller volume can, and B, we'll see how it does the difference between these 2 ammos, again, tested with a different setup. Factory rounds first, 150s are after that. Haven't shot this can yet. Let's hope it doesn't blow up in my face. Keep my hand away from there. That was actually a decent bit quieter with those factory rounds, in my opinion. I might have to do it back to back after this. Now I'm doubting myself, but I don't know how well the audio is even picking that up, but it's noticeable in person at the ear. That one seemed to go super, which is interesting. All right, 150s. That one didn't want to go off. see if this one works. Oh, that's got to be quieter than the other can. Again, it didn't want to spit out. I might still have some work to do with that ejector, but I'll do another update video if we can get that fixed. I'm gonna give this one another go. It looks like it just had a light primer strike, so gotta be smarter than the setup. I'm not gonna be able to sled a load in there if there's no magazine. Let's give it another tap, see if it goes. Still nothing. Interesting. Must have been a dead primer. Thanks, CCI. Yeah, since that seemed to do a little bit better with those rounds, I'm gonna load up some more of the factory rounds. We'll do 2 with this can. I'll pull it off and I'll throw the other can on and we'll test them back to back. See if there's a audible difference on video between the 2 cans. All right, got 4 more rounds loaded up. So I'm gonna try 2 of the factory loaded ammo loads with this can. I'll pull it off on video, I'll throw the other can on video, and then we'll shoot it with 2 rounds and we'll see if there's any kind of difference on the video. Really wish I had a meter to test these, but that might be coming up if I can fit it in the budget anytime soon. Not saying that's going to come to the channel, because it might be a bit, but it is definitely on the list of goals in the future. Alright, let's give this a try. Factory loaded ammo with the big diameter can. We'll see how it does. Pull it off, throw the other can on. That factory ammo is oddly poppy, like I mentioned before in one of my other videos shooting this thing. Just has a weird pop to it that the handloads don't have. Like I said, I haven't tried any other factory ammo, so I don't know if that's a thing with all of them, but the other nice thing about QD setups is you can do stuff like that. Easy swap, especially with the YHM. I love that system. So let's go ahead and throw 2 more rounds downrange of the factory ammo with the smaller diameter can. This cover might be deceiving. That is a smaller can. It's only 1.5 inch diameter. So definitely down on the volume. Let's see how it sounds. So back to back, not as big of a difference as I had thought after having time between switching this can to the bigger one, but still, considering this was built and designed for a Magnum round, I'm really happy. I mean, this thing has like 3.8 inches of BC spacing, which is huge if you do any kind of research on subsonic or 300 Blackout subsonic builds. A lot of people are using closer to between 1 and 2 inches if they're building their own for blast chamber spacing. Even this one is a little bit bigger, but it uses Dino cones up front, which have been shown through silencer students testing to handle first round pop really well. So I can get away with a little bit bigger of a blast chamber because this can was originally built for my 6.5 Creedmoor. It just so happens to work well on this thing too, so that's why I use it on there. Someday maybe we'll get another build, subsonic dedicated can, especially one with more volume if I can do that, because it'd be interesting to try form 1 build of something that's similar to the SIG can or even some of the Q stuff. More cone density, larger volume, around that 8 to 9 inch mark, I think is something that I would want to try on this one. But yeah, really impressed with both of these cans and the hand loads. Really, those 150 grains sound great. I'm gonna have to do some more experimenting with those. The load that I was recommended by someone who is familiar with those loads gave me the data, but it's all based on AR-15 loads to be able to cycle the action. I know with this thing I'll be able to get away with even less powder load, so we'll see if we can get them quieter. I do need to get out here with a chronograph just to make sure I'm not running into low pressure issues, because obviously you don't want to go too low. But I think I can probably drop another grain off of that load, because I don't have to worry about cycle and action on this thing, and we might be able to get them even quieter. But that'll be for a future video. I'll try and get some more stuff loaded up. I do have a couple of other people's pet loads that they have given me that I'm going to give a try with a couple of different powders. I don't remember exactly what they are. I think one's a ram shot load, and then one is something else. It might be 1680. I don't remember off the top of my head what it was, but I've had a lot of luck with little gun on my AR and this thing, but I want to try a couple other powders, see if we can optimize something for this instead of something that works in both the AR and this, because if you're going to tailor ammo, you might as well tailor ammo. But yeah, if you got any questions or comments, put them in the comment section down below. I try to answer everything as long as it's not ridiculous or it doesn't need an answer. But you know, if you guys are looking for help on Form 1 builds, or you got questions about the Blackout build or anything like that, feel free to ask. I try to respond to everything, and if I can't, hopefully I got some resources or other people that I can point you to that might have the answer. But again, thank you for watching. Have a great day.